welcome to the ABI Snapshot, where we spotlight critical findings and the latest research from our global team of analysts. In this snapshot, we're speaking to senior analyst Leo Gerks about the findings from his competitive analysis of mobile network operators' enterprise 5G offerings. So Leo, what can you tell me about the study?
Yes, so first thing is that our competitive ranking really shows that operators are lagging behind other players to provide enterprise-grade 5G connectivity for enterprise use cases. And as more and more regulators decide to make spectrum resources available to enterprises directly, these operators cannot rely on their spectrum resources as a unique selling point anymore. Now, on the contrary, hyperscalers, system integrators, and network infrastructure vendors all start to target enterprises directly with their offerings. So our competitive assessment here should really act as a critical call to action for the entire operator community to act in order to avoid missing out.
Right. So very interesting that operators are really lagging other players. Have you identified in your research any reasons for this?
Yes, in our extensive discussions with operators and enterprises, we have identified essentially three main reasons for this. Firstly, operators are still lagging behind when it comes to offering appealing deployment models for enterprise use cases. On the one hand, this is the deployment of a fully isolated private network is both resource and cost intensive. Furthermore, key enterprise use cases might require connectivity that go beyond the enterprise premises. So instead of focusing their efforts on providing only fully isolated private networks, operators should really look into how they can combine private enterprise infrastructure with their existing public network resources to drive down deployment costs and cater for enterprise use cases. And in line with this, CSPs need to develop innovative business models that should not require a large upfront investment, but rather focus on ongoing subscription-based pricing that cater for enterprise requirements also from a financial point of view. And thirdly, CSPs are still focusing on providing only 5G connectivity to enterprises. And this might come as a hard hit for operators, but 5G as a technology per se does not carry any value proposition for enterprises. What really matters to them is the application that 5G enables. So in other words, operators need to react to this and find ways to provide full end-to-end digitization platforms rather than only 5G networks for enterprises.
So to summarize, we have more flexible deployment models, lower cost overall, and perhaps a move to subscription-based models, and then to look at the bigger piece of the puzzle, not 5G alone, but enterprise pain points and how 5G can solve them. But let's take a step back at the moment, and let's talk around the study of this, behind this. Can you describe the scope of the study?
Yes, so the study assessed and compared 20 mobile network operators and their enterprise 5G offerings, both in terms of their innovation and their implementation capabilities. And in selecting the operators, ABI Research selected the most prominent players that either have enterprise 5G offerings commercially available or are in a position to enter the market with commercial products in the remainder of 2021. Based on this analysis, we determined the market position of each profile company in terms of leaders, mainstream, and followers, and provided strategic guidance and recommendations accordingly.
So I know that competitive assessments are always an interesting research. So can you describe how these 20 mobile network operators stacked up?
Yes, so to give an overall assessment of network operators' enterprise 5G offerings, we looked at both innovation as well as implementation capabilities. Now, innovation refers to how the respective operator is planning its 5G offerings, and implementation essentially describes how well they are equipped to execute these conceptual ideas. Now, based on this exercise, we ranked Deutsche Telekom, Orange, China Unicom, China Mobile, and Vodafone as overall leaders for enterprise 5G connectivity. Now, looking at the companies more individually, Deutsche Telekom ranked as the overall leader, and it does particularly well in targeting a wide range of different enterprises by offering sophisticated different deployment models. Orange, on the other hand, their success is in this ranking is mainly due to its ecosystem influence. In other words, the large number of joint innovation labs and ecosystem partnerships. While China Unicom and China Mobile both target one of the most advanced markets for enterprise 5G, which is China, which puts them in a favorable position when it comes to implementation. And Vodafone ranks highly thanks to its commitment to advancing 5G capabilities and for its flexibility in offering a very easily deployable 5G platform solution to enterprises. Now, it should be mentioned that all 5 leaders also scored as both top innovators and top implementers during the study as well.
So all these 5 operators, very strong overall. But were there any other companies that stood out in terms of either innovation or implementation?
Yes, that's a very good question, actually. And there are a couple of examples here. Telefonica, for example, ranked among the top innovators in this assessment. As one of the company's strengths is its involvement in joint research activities and organizations, such as their commitment to the Telecom Infrastructure Project, or TIP. And Telefonica also distinguishes 3 different enterprise connectivity models: an isolated private network, a dedicated slice of a public network, or a hybrid network deployment, which speaks to its strength in deployment. On the implementation side, on the other hand, Verizon was recognized as a top implementer, as it is the only carrier that has deployed early private 5G networks on a continent where it does not currently hold any spectrum resources. So while it started by targeting the domestic North American market, Verizon announced its first private 5G deployment on a shipping port in the United Kingdom, so in Europe, in January 2021. In addition, Verizon also relies on Nokia's digital automation cloud and private network spectrum, or shared spectrum, depending on the country. And as a result, the operator can really offer turnkey solutions to enterprises that are very easily deployable.
Thank you very much, Leo. I'm sure that this information you shared with us is the tip of the iceberg for this report. But anyone who is viewing this video, please feel free to look at abi.link/CA1290 for the full description of the competitive assessment and to find further information. So thank you very much from here at ABI Research. We'll be happy to discuss further.